right with you.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Surprise Your Spirit. I am your host, Kendra Walbom, all the way from Canada. I hope everyone is having a wonderful evening this evening, and I hope if you're tuning in, you're excited. I have a really great guest joining me tonight. Tonight, the topic is going to be spirituality and how it coincides with depression, kind of what happens when you're depressed, what happens to one's spirit, how to conquer those things. My guest is going to come in and answer some questions about her journey with depression and share her story and share how she actually, started to overcome depression without the use of medication and all those things, just by learning some tools and learning how to feed her spirit and trust her own truth and step into who she is instead of trying to be what everyone else wants her to be. On that note, before we get started, I just wanted to mention that I have a friend out there who I haven't spoken with for a while, and I'm not sure if they tune into my shows or not, but if they are out there, I want you to know that I miss you and I can't wait to talk to you sometime soon. And this is the easiest way for me to possibly reach them at this time. So we'll just throw that out there. And so right back in here, guys, we do have the ability to take live phone calls. So we will play this by ear in according to my guides and see how it goes. But if anyone wants to take down the number to call in, if you have questions for me or Charlene, please do so. The number is 1-520-477-9587. Also, please hop into the chat on OTCR. There's a live chat. Ask your questions there. I will be monitoring it all throughout the show. We are here to help you. We want to hear your questions and comments along the way. For anyone who doesn't know about me and this is your first time tuning in, I am Kendra. I am an intuitive reader, also known as a psychic medium. You can find me at surpriseyourspirit.com. You can find me at Surprise Your Spirit on Facebook. I also have some YouTube stuff. I do read for a platform that is just a little under construction right now as well, and I'll share that more with you guys as it progresses. So that's where you can find me. I do intuitive readings. My favorite is Life Path. I also do hands-on energy healing. And I do soul's awareness coaching. And so coaching is really, digging deep and doing some inner healing work and discovering who you are and owning who you are and learning how to walk your truth with confidence and learning how to get in tune with your guides. So that's that. Now back to our topic of depression this evening. I just want to talk a little bit about my personal story with depression inside my own life and inside, my father's life. Due to being a natural energy healer, people who are empaths and natural energy healers will tend to give and give and give to others until they have nothing left for themselves. And they will do it over and over and over, which spirals into a depression. Natural energy healers and empaths rarely take from others willingly. They don't receive energy exchanges well. And they would much rather see someone else happy and taking of their energy than keeping for themselves, which can obviously be unhealthy, because if you're not feeding your spirit with joy and receiving some love and happiness for yourself, it will deplete you. And that's where your protection stands in your energetic field, is in that happiness and that joy and shining your inner light bright, which then allows those darker energies, doubts, fears, physical illnesses to enter your being. And so in high school, that's a very turbulent time. And I really suffered with depression during that time at the end of my high school years. And then again, probably in my early 20s, due to the fact that I wasn't really presenting as who I truly was. I was ignoring a lot of who I was. I hid my abilities, and I tried to fit into the crowd, which I already knew I wasn't capable of doing, but I tried anyways because I was already the weird girl, and I didn't want to be the weird girl anymore. So that's that. Then my father has had a severe, battle, a hard battle for the last 10 to 12 years with depression. The last 5 have been very turbulent. He's actually just started in the past 8 months to really come back into who he is and own himself and be okay with where he is at in life. But it was very hard to watch someone's spirit die, and to watch the person that I loved, who was always so kind and giving, make some poor choices and not be able to function the way he was, nor used to functioning, working hard. He could barely function on a daily basis. And because my dad and I have a very close connection spiritually, as well as on the physical realm, it did a number on me. So I kept continuing to try to heal him, even though I was away, trying to be a huge support for him. So I therefore battled and struggled a lot with a lot of energy. And at the time, I was really learning how to use my abilities, and as well as I had used my abilities my whole entire life for myself, but I was starting to use my abilities to help others. And so with giving him a lot of my time and energy and learning how to help others, I, was really depleting myself. And so I did dip into low points at periods in my life. And learning balance is extremely important. So there's that balance in that giving and receiving of energy exchanges that I was talking about. And so, just so everybody knows, I became a great source and a mentor for my dad, trying to teach what I know about him being a natural energy healer, and trying to he was on board, but it was scary for him. We talked often about, how he used to see energies, or spirits if you prefer, when he was trying. He used to hear them, and he never wanted to tell anyone because, they put people in places for stuff at his time in life. And he knew they were very much real, and he knew he was very much guided, and he knew which ones, were beneficial to his life and which ones were not so beneficial to his life. And so he stuffed for years and years and years and hid who he truly was. He always was the nicest, kindest, most helping person. I mean, he would have given his shirt off his back. I mean, actually, I've seen it on the street where he's given his shirt away to someone. One time when we were in Vegas. And he is that type of person. He always took care of others before himself because he knew he had more. He could always get more, and that person needed it more than him. And so he was that person, but he never ever kept for himself. And so he sunk into this depression. He also sunk into the fact that part of his purpose here is to teach and to share with others the meaning of unconditional love. Forgiveness is a hard concept for most people, and some may be offended by that, but really, people do not understand the true meaning of forgiveness. A lot of people think forgiveness is I'm sorry's and you owe me's and all those sorts of things, but that couldn't be farther from the truth. And I can tell you, my dad is the best forgiver I have ever met. I try my hardest to follow his lead in his examples of forgiveness because they are by far the best. It doesn't matter what hardship he's faced, what people do to him. He always forgives. And then the one situation that really dragged him down, he just couldn't forgive. He could not forgive in that one situation, and he tried to, fight the situation instead of let go of it, and it really pulled him into a dark place. And he was done wrong by, and so it was very hard to watch him struggle. And now I see him stepping into more of himself, and being truly who he is. And he's teaching a lot of people in my family and a lot of people in the community to not, when you go through some of the things that happen, you get judged. Stigmas get attached to you. People just assume you're doing certain things and you're acting crazy for reasons because they don't understand the concept of depression and its connection to your spirituality and your personal growth and your inner truth. And he has overcome a lot of that. And I often tell him, how proud I am of him, because there were times when we were very close to losing him. And I don't want anyone out there to have to go through that. I want you guys to know there are people to talk to. There are ways to handle things. Medication isn't always the answer. It can definitely be an aid and a help, but there are tools outside of that as well that need to be explored in combination and conjunction with. There are lots and lots of documented ancient healing methods that, happened before the times of Western medicine. And I think in conjunction with both, with the right balance, people can heal themselves. And so with having said that, again, I'm going to give the number. The number is 1-520-477-9587 if you'd like to call in at any time in the show and have a chat and with either Charlene or myself. And with having said that, I would like to welcome Miss Charlene Mooley to the show to share her story and her experience with me. Good evening, Charlene. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kendra, for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. It's completely my pleasure. So, can you, Charlene, how long, can you tell the listeners out there how long you've been suffering from depression?
I think I have, looking back throughout my child years and my teen years, I've been suffering from it for quite a while. Like right in my teen years, even though I didn't know what was happening in my teen years, and I was all over the place. My moods would change. I would be angry one minute and I would be happy the next minute. Due to some of my upbringing, it was really affecting my moods, and I was really angry and distant from people. Even though I didn't recognize what was happening, I just thought, oh, it's just a normal teen. And in that time, I turned to, alcohol. But when I reached my mid-20s, I would say, I knew something just wasn't right, Kendra. Like my moods were just all over the place. And it almost seemed like I had a split personality. And I wasn't
Yep.
quite sure what. I wasn't sure if it was like this crazy negative energy entity thing that was living inside me, and I didn't know, and I didn't know how to fight it off. I didn't know what was happening, and I needed to seek some professional help. And I did go to my doctor because I would bring this up to, other people, and people would just look at me crazy. So for my health, I needed to go and seek professional help from a doctor, and I did get put on medication. So I would say in my mid-20s, that's when I fessed up to myself and say, okay, I need some help. And that's when I really recognized that I did suffer from depression, and that word is totally okay.
Yeah, exactly. And how many labels go with depression? Can you describe your fear around that? People knowing that you were diagnosed with depression. What were the feelings that went with that label?
Well, when I was first actually diagnosed by a doctor, I told some of my family, some of my close friends, and they were in almost in denial because the word depression in my mid-20s, which was not even that long ago, that's for crazy people. Like, you need to be locked up if you say that word, like in the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
sick. That's kind of the feeling that I got from people. Like, no, 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 that's denial. Like, that's for super sick people. You don't have that. You don't have that. You're just, dealing with some stuff. So, but it's not that at all, Kendra.
I know exactly what it is. It's a battle. It is an inner outer world battle. Um, so how did you get, your loved ones to accept what was actually happening?
I, I, once they started to see the change in me, through medication, because medication does help, like with the doctor's advice and just through trial and error, you're going to find something that's going to work for you. So, I was, stabilized, but, and so my family saw a big difference in me at the time, even though I was on medication. I gained a pile of weight. So like 40 pounds in 3 months, which I didn't feel good about myself, but at least my family could cope with me. People could cope with me, especially my family, because Kendra, I was like a split personality. I was something different at work and out in public, and I would come home to closed doors and I would be a completely different person. I would be irate and I would be, angry 1 minute and super happy the next minute, and treating people like crap, like my family. So when they saw that I was, just normal moods, they saw the big difference. So I didn't really have to convince them. They actually just saw it.
Exactly. And okay, so that's really interesting me. So what were some of the challenges you faced with the depression, and how did it affect your everyday life, Charlene? Like, can you give some good specific examples for the listeners out there so that they can kind of get a picture of what a day was like for you?
Yeah. So yeah, I can. So I'm gonna just step back, like before I actually seek approval, like professional help from a
Right?
doctor. Um, so when probably in my early 20s, I knew that I suffered from something. I just wasn't quite sure what it was yet. I didn't like the word depression. It just didn't enter my mind because it was a crazy thing. And in my early 20s, we we experienced a traumatic event, and my close uncle, which is my brother, pretty much like my brother, he committed suicide, and I went off the map. Um, I was just, went crazy pretty much. And that really affected my life because my moods were all over the place. I wanted to hide from the world, literally would lock myself in the bedroom in the dark, and cry. And throughout these years before, I would say I was around 20ish, and went to the doctor like to get professional help around 27. So that's 7 years. And I was going through some pretty dark times in that time. I had several other friends committing suicide. So what did that do? Because I was already down in the dumps, Kendra. I was already feeling like I'm not worthy. I felt like I had something living inside me with a split personality. I hated life. I was treating everybody like crap. People were mad at me. All these things were piling up. So what did I do? I contemplated suicide myself. And I did that over and over and over again. I even wrote notes, sent them away. And I don't know. I don't even know. I lost count probably 20 times. I thought of every different way just to get out so I wouldn't have to cause pain on anybody else, cause pain in my life. This pain was so bad that I couldn't even deal with it anymore. So that's when
Go ahead.
So that's when I knew something needed to change because my life was in danger. And that's when I recognized, like, I'm a danger to myself, but not just to myself. Now I had kids involved. So I had to do something different. And that's when I seek, professional help. And it didn't take everything away. I'm 40 now. So, from 27 to 40, my life looked like, even though I could deal with, day-to-day stresses, I still had the moods up and down. And I still wasn't treating my family right, my, close people to me. I still wasn't doing that. And I still felt like I had that split personality, but it almost seemed like the medication just shut something off in my brain, or like just paused it for a little while so I didn't have to, go through, those suicide thoughts and stuff like that, which it came still, but not to the extreme.
Right. It lessened the severity and the intensity.
Yes. It numbed it a bit.
Yeah, exactly. I can definitely relate to that. I mean, and I just like, I'm just going to end it. Like, I just can't anymore. And we had a big talk at that time about it. And I mean, the weird thing was I was aware that those thoughts didn't belong to me, but there was this part of me that didn't want to hear them anymore. So it wasn't until a short while later I figured that they actually belonged to someone I had went to school with. And that's kind of where I really stepped into my abilities and learned how to be a friend and be more accepting. Because people needed a friend.
Yeah.
And I really started to take opposition to judging people, and I was always friends with everyone. There was no in crowd, out crowd with me. I kind of hopped to groups. And it was interesting to me because it wasn't until recently when I was really thinking about this, I never ever got ridiculed like others when I hopped to groups. Like back in high school, that wasn't a thing. Like you don't go from group to group. Like you'd be outcasted.
Exactly.
But I mean, maybe it was because I already felt outcasted, so I didn't really care. It was more important that I was where I needed to be someone's friend at that time. I don't know. But I can also say that I didn't really get the rude comments that most people do either. So that's interesting. But I've had those experiences as well. And they're not.
So no, they're not. They're fairly true.
Yeah, no, they are. They are very scary because coming back. If you decide to take action on something, you don't really know on the other.
Yeah.
So,
and like Kendra, at the time, like the pain was more like it was not there anymore, and that's those thoughts came into my head, and it didn't matter. Right. Like I wasn't thinking of anybody else. That's
yes.
Listening. They know what I'm saying is you don't think about the people that you may hurt or whatever. You're just in so much pain. You literally cannot take it anymore. But then, there's this voice in your head going, you know what, just get up one more time. just get up one
Yeah.
more time.
Yeah. Tomorrow will be better. Like, it's that little bit of hope, right?
Exactly.
That keeps pulling you through. So can you tell the listeners where the turning point in your life was, and what was it, and what happened?
So the turning point in my life, I can pretty much pinpoint it to the day. It was 2 years ago, 2 years, 1 month ago. I, did something a little bit out of the norm, out of the normal job thing. I started a home business, and through that home business, I met some people that were not my normal crowd, the normal people that I would hang out with. Nothing like that. They were different, Kendra. I got to meet these people, and as soon as I heard them speak for the very first time, I wanted what they had. I wanted whatever it was, but I felt the energy, I felt the passion, I felt their love, and I phoned, a couple of them immediately, and I wanted to know what was up with them. I longed for that. I wanted that. So through that process, like 2 years ago, um, I just clung on to just a couple of people and really took in what they were telling me. But this group that I hang with, they loved me unconditionally. They accepted me for who I truly was. They mentored me. They they inspired me. They were different. Their mindsets were different. It was no negativity. It was no talking about other people. There was no gossip. There was nothing like that out of my norm. And they all had the life that I wanted. So I embraced it. And Kendra, it was nuts. I went through an incredible transformation just by a different influence of people. My life completely changed within 2 weeks. No joke.
Yep. I absolutely, can totally recognize with that, because when I do coaching with people, I tell them, the 5 people that you spend your time with, most of your time, the 5 people you spend the most time with represent you. They make up you. So take a good look at those 5 people. And if you don't like what you see, you better start doing some purging.
Yeah. Another thing that I really appreciated, and I came in, negative. I came in broken. I came to them, and I was not like, there was just chaos going on in my head, and they didn't put up with it. They didn't, they had empathy but not sympathy, and they put me down a path. They guided me to this transformation path, like read this book, listen to these YouTube videos. It was something it was strange to me. I've never even heard of this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I started applying that stuff to my life daily, and just surrounding myself with these people every single day, every chance that I could. Sometimes I'd call them like 14 times a day, but I needed to hear and I needed to have what they had, and I just embraced it. And the change came so quickly. When you want it so bad, when you want some change or whatever it may be, it's going to happen really, really quick.
I agree. So we're just getting close to break here, Charlene. So I'm just going to let the callers know that how we can be reached. If anyone wants to call in and has any questions for Charlene or myself, the number to reach us at is 1-520-477-9587. And on the other side of the break, we're going to chat a little more with Charlene about her transformation, what else she's got going along, and a few more topics, and then we'll just see where the time goes. So we'll catch you guys just on the other side of the break here. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Surprise Your Spirit show with Kendra from Surprise Your Spirit. I'm here this evening speaking with my guest Charlene about depression. She has some really good, sharing in the first half. For anyone who's just tuning in, I would encourage you to listen to the replay and check it out. I'm just going to give the number again here to call in if anyone has any questions for myself or Charlene. The number is 1-520-477-9587. We will answer questions for you guys regarding this topic in relation to spirituality and taking your life back. Also, if anyone wants to pop into the chat room and ask their question, you can reach me at www.spreaker.com. OTCR presents Surprise Your Spirit, and at the bottom there's a little pop-up that shows up, and there's a little chat thing. Just click on that, and you can hop into the chat room and have a chat with me. And I see Terry says hello to you, Missy. How are ya? And so we'll just pop back in with Charlene and carry on our conversation where we left off. So welcome back here, Charlene.
Thank you.
Okay, so before the break here, we talked about how long you've been suffering from depression, and basically it comes down to over half your life.
Yeah.
And how hard it was for, your family to accept that you were depressed, because that's not something that was talked about, because people are put in places for things like that, with the word. With the word, I mean, back in those days, that's how it was. Back in those days, I'm making you sound like you're 90.
Hey, just hold it there, Kendra.
You're not that much older than me either, so I'm throwing myself under the bus. Yeah. Oh, you're a sweetheart. There's no age limit with a bright light, man. There just isn't. So, and you shared some of the challenges you faced every day and some of the thoughts and feelings you had. And then you talked about the turning point in your life where you really stepped outside your comfort zone and took on a new challenge with a new home business, which in turn provided you with the biggest gift of all, a support team of people who didn't judge you and accepted you for who you were and helped you to make you into, the start of a journey of being the person you strive to be, that you wanted to be, but just didn't know where to go to do it and how to go about it.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, is there anything else you'd like to talk about? Has there been any other situations that, took a lot of courage for you to step outside your comfort zone and take your power back? Because that is a big thing about depression. When we don't keep our power and we give it away, we literally give away our happiness by doing that. We just give it away.
Yeah, exactly. Well, first I want to tell the callers how long I've known you, Kendra. It hasn't even been that long. I've known Kendra for, what is it, like 2 months?
Not even January, February. No, because we met on January 27th or 28th of this year.
Yeah, crazy.
Do you want to tell them about that? Why you know me? Well, you know what, Char? I think it's good to let the listeners know too, because I had some other, my guests from last week. I don't know. They're all new people to me. Just so all my listeners know, my guests are not lifelong friends. Like, they are people that I've come across with regards to me stepping into my spiritual journey and helping others along our last week. Andrea, she had followed me on my Facebook page. I had never really interacted with her, commented daily on the map for a few months, and I noticed it, and then I had reached out and told her, I had reached out to my fan page and said, I'm looking for someone who just started their spiritual journey to be my guest. I mean, I was good with taking a stranger. I just wanted to get out there for the listeners to hear some stories. And she reached out to me and said, hey, I'll do it. And I said, hey, man, I've just been thinking about you this past week, noticing you haven't been active on my Facebook page. And we ended up chatting, she said, yeah, sure, give me a call, give me a rundown of what you're looking for. I called her and we ended up talking for an hour and a half, and I'm sure she's going to become a coffee friend. But I just want the listeners to know, like, these most of my guests aren't people that I know, they're just people that I connect with through my journey. So go ahead, Char, tell them how we met and all of that.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it's so much fun because, Kendra, we're all, as you were talking about, you just started this, the radio show and all of this stuff. So we're all on this journey together, which is pretty amazing. But yeah, anyway, I've known Kendra for not even 2 months now, and I saw an event come up in our area that she was going to be attending, and I was really drawn to her event. I knew her name from some other people, and I was drawn to this event, but I'm like, no, you know what? No, forget it. And it kept popping up, and it was in the back of my mind. And I was like, I need to go to that event. For some reason, I need to connect with this woman, and I need to go. So I registered myself, and I think it was like, what, Kendra, like 12 hours later, and I said, my husband's coming too.
Yeah. Actually, you messaged me and asked me how many tickets you could buy. And I said, how many are you looking for?
That's right. So then I got some of my friends to come with me, which was awesome. And that's how we met. We met through this event, and just being around Kendra, I was like, oh my goodness, like, I need to be around this woman. Her energy is absolutely incredible. She was just touching my heart and touching my soul. And I don't know, I was just a whole new person. It was like I was so comfortable and safe, and I just needed more of her. So when the event was done, there were some things obviously that I needed to work out in my own life. That's depression, and just, to have a really crystal clear path and someone to guide me on this spiritual journey, because that was my next season, is, on this spiritual journey. So that's how we connected, and, we've been working together for, I guess, about a month and a half now, and she's showing me a lot about myself, truly, being who you truly are, and not, really caring, I guess, what other people say about you, because it's not about them. It's just about you. And those people that are supposed to be in your life will be in your life just to be true to you and act like you. Not like how I used to be. I used to, like, go to different events and try to, fit in with that crowd. So whatever that may look like, that's how my attitude was. That's how I was acting towards that. And I wasn't truly just being me.
You were being a chameleon. You were a professional chameleon.
I guess so. Yeah, exactly.
That's what I call people when usually when we first start talking in our sessions, and I say, so you're a professional chameleon? And they are like, I never thought about it that way, but yes, I am.
I guess so. Yep, you're right.
So we're going to change that. We're all going to end up, I always tell my clients, well, when I'm done with you, you're going to be a professional peacock, all your colors showing and all your feathers fluffed.
Exactly. So Kendra really, showed me, and to be okay and comfortable with that, to really truly find myself, and it's okay to be me instead of, trying to please everybody else, because that's not what it's all about. Those people are supposed to be in your life or not in your life, and just be okay with that. That, just remember the universe has your back no matter what.
And so how does that feed your spirit, Shar? Like, what changes for you? Some of the things that we've worked on in coaching, how has that changed things for you? Like, what has it added to your life?
Well, knowing that, and taking back my power, which was another huge thing, it has brought complete this freedom to be free. I was finally free to be me and just be okay with that. Not be in this little bubble, acting like people wanted me to. It was freedom. I was happy, truly happy for the first time in forever. And when Kendra taught me about taking back my power, there was an instance in my life recently that was really affecting my emotional well-being, career, family, absolutely everything in my life. And so we talked about that, and she's like, well, Shar, you got to take back your power. You're giving your power away to this circumstance. And, in turns, it was actually a person, a family member, that was taking away our power. And the universe and, couldn't work in our lives. We were so unhappy. Things were not working out at all in any area. Our relationship was in turmoil, my kids, like everything. So I totally stepped out of my comfort zone, Kendra. And I had to have a chat with a family member and say, enough is enough. Like, I love you, and always operate in love. I love you, but you know what? This is unacceptable. And I'm not going to go into details, but it's not acceptable what's happening. And, and just be true. Just, tell your feelings and be okay with that. Even though, especially family, they probably won't understand what you're saying, and be okay with that. That's okay, because it's not for them. It's for you. You're taking back your power. And when that happened, when I had a conversation with this, my family member, and he took back my power, gave my feelings, they didn't understand. They were actually upset. And it's not like I didn't care, but I had to release that, and I was free. For me, I was free, my family was free, our whole life was free, and I felt like I was literally on cloud nine, and a shift happened immediately in my life. All those negative thoughts, all of those, those limiting beliefs, all that disappeared, Kendra, just by stepping out of my comfort zone, taking back my power to a family member that had a stronghold in our life for 7 years. And I stood up for me and my family, and that's what I had to do. And that was just recently.
Yeah, it was just recently. I won't go into details with them, Shar, but I just want to talk about this a little more so people can understand and have a clearer picture of how big this was in your world. can you explain to them the amount of courage that it took? Because I remember you messaging me before it went down and messaging me immediately after just for some support, and talk about the courage piece and actually how your body was responding and what happened.
Yeah. So like right before this went down, I was actually because there was such a stronghold that this person had in our life. That day I was actually really, really depressed, really, really bad, contemplating suicide again and all these thoughts. And, and the moment came where I had this, something just inside me said, you've got to get up and you've got to go talk to this person. And Kendra, it was the most craziest thing ever. So I went from this depressive, suicidal state in my bed. I got up like it was a whole different person. I was okay. I was at peace. I, took some deep breaths, and I asked, the guides to, guide me and, bring me strength. And I was just breathing. And it almost felt like an out-of-body experience, Kendra, when I was, about to speak to this family member. It felt like I was just put in the background and my spirit was doing the talking. It literally felt like an out-of-body experience. So that was cool because I was an emotional wreck before, but I was at peace immediately. And then after it happened, I came back in the house and I messaged Kendra right away. And I had this, it felt like I was floating on cloud 9. And I was the most happiest I think I have been in years. It felt like this major weight lifted off of me. And this negative energy in our house and in our yard. And, it just felt like there was just white light everywhere. It was so freeing, and you could feel the energy shift, even in me and my husband's talking. And I messaged Kendra, I'm like, okay, girl, I did it. And it was absolutely an amazing experience to take back your power and free your spirit. And since then, I have experienced so many amazing personal, journeys, changes, I guess you want to say, spiritually. All kinds of things happening that I didn't even know even existed to me. And you're finding out from Kendra, yeah, you know what, you have like, a little bit like an empath and energy healing and stuff like that, and I didn't know any of this stuff, but I was tapping into all of these things that were already inside of me because I let go of the limiting beliefs and, owning up to who I truly am. And those people that are in your life that are not serving you and causing you grief, you got to get rid of them, guys. You have to get rid of these people, and just be okay with that. Speak the truth and in love, and just let go. Just truly let go and let the spirit and flow through you. You'll be so incredible.
I think that was most of the conversation was about, Char, it doesn't matter what you do. If you're coming from a place of love and self-care, it doesn't matter how the other person reacts. As long as there is no intention to harm or hurt, when you need to take care of yourself, you will always be backed.
Exactly.
And we had that conversation many a time, and you really needed that reassurance because we're not taught that. Like that's programming that is so, over the years we are taught that this is wrong and that is wrong, and it doesn't matter what you want. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. We're always wrong. There's nothing, even when you do something right, there's still something wrong about it. That's the type of world we're brought up in, as opposed to take care of you and the rest falls into place. And we've had a lot of conversations about that. And it takes a long time to undo all that programming about how wrong you are, instead of being taught the rightness inside of ourselves. Shar, can you tell the listeners, what is the one thing, like when you came into my workshop, what is the one thing that happened there that stood out for you that really was like, okay, like this is what I need to do. Like I need to really work on this journey. Was there something I said or I did or?
Oh my gosh. Kendra, I don't know. Like the thing that I felt is like I felt really, really safe when I was, around you. I could definitely feel the energy, a different kind of energy that I was used to. And
Yeah.
I longed for that. Whatever, like in my mind, I was like, whatever energy, like whatever is going on there, whatever, and that because I didn't know, right? Like I'm fairly new to this spiritual journey stuff. Like I grew up in in Catholic church and stuff like that. So like this energy stuff, and I knew a little bit, but not to that extent. So but whatever you had, what you were saying, and you were speaking so boldly and confident, and I really picked up on that you were just okay. Whatever you were saying, however you were saying it, you were just okay with that, and how if you received it, that's that's really what stood out for me. And just to be you, it doesn't matter how you put it, or you're not, that's what really stood out, is just be bold and be you.
Interesting, because I see a lot of that growth in you since we first met too. So that's really interesting that that's what you really took away from it, was just be bold, be you.
Yeah.
Go for the gold and be bold.
Exactly. Go big or go home. I don't know.
That's right. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to share with the listener, Shar, or any last piece of advice that you want to share before I let you go?
The only thing that I would say is, you're so influenced by the people that you hang out with. That's who you're gonna become. And I really encourage, like, if you are, looking for a different path in life, you have your dreams and goals, and you know that the people that you're hanging out with right now, or being surrounded with right now, friends or family, I really encourage you to step out of your comfort zone and find a new group of friends, and look at their life, and that's what you'll want. However they live their life, that's what that's what you truly want. Hook up with them, pick their brains, surround yourself with those people that are whatever you want, and pick a different circle of influence, because trust me, I promise you, it will change your life when you really do surround yourself with positive, uplifting, inspiring people. And for me, successful people, that's what I wanted. And it changed my life like fairly quickly. It wasn't a long process. It was quick. So that's the only thing that I would say. And, just be you, be bold, and take back your power with anybody and everybody, because you deserve to have the best life. We only have one, and live it true to you and what you truly want.
And so just to add to that, just for all the listeners, Shar said, successful is what she wanted, but just so everyone's clear, I don't think success meant necessarily monetary success. I think it was more about abundance and happiness, just because Shar's really learned that money follows joy. So she was really working, her success was maintaining a balance and happiness in order to be able to attain all the rest of the materialistic things that add to your joy. Is that correct, Shar?
That's 100% right. Abundance doesn't always, cool. It doesn't mean money, mean money. It's just being happy and joyful every single day. Be super grateful every day for everything. And all of those things are going to come to you naturally.
Well, Shar, you're such a pleasure to be in touch with, and thank you for choosing me to be your mentor. I love working with you, and I've seen so much growth, and thank you for joining me and sharing your story and having the courage to put yourself out there. You're a true blessing and a true gift to this world. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see more of you arise because there's so much more to come. And have a really fantastic evening.
Thank you, love. Thank you so much for asking me to speak on the phone with you. And this has been such a pleasure and so much fun. Thank you so
No
much.
problem. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So I just want to thank Shar here for joining us this evening and sharing her story. Just as you guys know, there are people out there. Reach out, help, find a way to feed your spirit. Do what it takes. Do the reading, change your group of friends, find a mentor, do all those sorts of things. Get what you need for you because your life changes around you. Work the change happens from the inside and then it starts to show in your outside world. So really, really do that work, guys, and I promise you won't regret it. I want to give a big shout out to OTC Radio for giving me the opportunity here. Actually for my wonderful producer Sprinkles, because she's the one who snipped me up. Yes, she's yelling in the background just so everyone knows. She's calling herself the troublemaker, which I would agree with. She's the one who snipped me up and coerced me into this situation, which I've come to love, so I can reach out and touch as many people's lives as I can, whether it's through my story or other people's stories. Now we have the phone number for call-ins. I will be doing some live on-air readings, so you guys might want to, stay in touch with what I'm doing on the show. I will be having some guests. I will be having a woman come on and talk about the energy of money in the near future. I will also be having, I believe she's a psychiatrist and an astrologer. And I'm not talking about, the phony horoscope astrology. I'm actually talking about mapping of the stars and birth natal charts and those sorts of things. I will be listing the schedule of those events, so then you will know when live readings will take place on my Facebook page at Surprise Your Spirit on Facebook, so you can keep up there. And you can always find me at Surprise Your Spirit on Facebook. Email me at kendra@surpriseyourspirit.com. And you can catch me here every Thursday evening at the same time. And I would like to thank all of you for tuning in and listening. And I wish you all the best week and weekend. And we will catch you here again next Thursday. Oh, Andrea Azowski will be back next Thursday joining me for anyone who's interested. And we will catch you then. Take care and have a good evening.